Hi, everyone. As part of Homework 7, we have decided to do a contemporary study on US economic data. So as you know, inflation is the hottest topic right now because the United States and throughout the world is experience inflation levels that has been seen never before. So as part of the analysis, we decided to use the Fred Economic Data Set API. So basically through this website, you can get inflation, GDP, all sorts of data. And basically this is the API link, API documentation where you can go and figure things out and everything. Moving back, so moving on to the installation prerequisite, please go through these. These are self-explanatory. Making the connection to the API. First of all, you need to have an account in the Fred Economic website. And after you get an account, you can generate a private API token key and make sure to have the token replaced in the API secret.json file. And then basically, as part of the project, we decided to create a class structure of our code so that we don't have to call each time the API, and that we have a graceful exit through in case we have a bad response. We have made sure that we handle that as well. Moving on, as part of our first analysis of our project, we decided to see what the CPI index, excluding food and energy, is. So as you know, CPI is the consumer price index. And as you can see, we are experiencing around 4.56%, which is like the highest in over like 40 years, except for the mid 80s. And then, but that doesn't tell this full story, right? Because it excludes the food and energy. So we decided to do the analysis on a core CPI, which is the median consumer price index, which includes a broader range of other commodities. And here we see a much more fluctuating effect, but this is mostly due because it is a monthly index. But as you can see, we see a much higher one. So we decided to do a moving average of 6 months analysis. And as you can see here, the rate is actually 6.15%. So as we see earlier, it was around 4%, but now it's 6%, which is even more higher. For the next set of analysis, my teammate Nasran is going to go ahead. So Nasran, please proceed.
Hi everyone, so in the next part of project we decided to plot producer price index, which is another measure of inflation over the last 20 years. We can see that the PPI index has more than doubled over the last 20 years with a huge surge at the end. We continued with studying two common effects of inflation based on the resources. Changes in GDP and unemployment rate are really considerable when inflation hits. So before going into the details of studying these two effects, we wanted to just create a bar chart of the percentage of change from a year ago for both GDP and unemployment rate. You can see that in both of these bar charts, we can see a sudden change of trend for GDP and unemployment rate in year 2020, which is the very same year that the COVID-19 hit, which makes uh, a clear sense. In this next part, we decided to study the correlation between inflation and each of these effects actually. We can see that both of the plots below demonstrate a negative correlation that is actually considerable between inflation and unemployment rate and also inflation and GDP. And the negative correlation shows us that the lower inflation is, the higher GDP and unemployment will be. In the last part of the study, we decided to use linear regression provided by this sklearn library in order to predict the consumer price index for the next 4 years. Based on the given mean absolute error, and here you can also see the predicted values of CPI for the future 4 years. Based on the mean absolute error, well, the applied linear regression is not terribly perfect, but at least it can give us a really good estimate for short periods of times. This Python script at the end of our Python file is used in order to merge all of the output plots into a LaTeX file and then convert the LaTeX into a PDF file. For more details of how you can run our Python file, you can go through this section. And our final suggestion is that in order to do some prediction on the inflation, it's better that you use more advanced machine learning tools. Thank you.